Om Aginajamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshmatamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapatamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didanti Sambhadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapatakamalo Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakarajatam Sakanaragunatam Vitam Tam Shijivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shivashavitam Cha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kanchan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sutadevi Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachadini Nivasisha Sunyavadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram So we've understood there are four sampradayas or four lines, all originating originally from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has given a definition in Gora Gana Sarup, Tattva Chandrika, that the word sampradaya, sam, S-A-M, means correct. P-R-A, sampra means superior. Sampradaya, D-A-Y-A in this context, means connection. So the correct, superior connection. So one has to connect to a sampradaya. There's a verse that says, if you don't connect to a bona fide sampradaya, then your initiation and even your mantra is nishpalam. Mantras te nishpale phalam. It's like a tree that gives no fruit. Previously, trees would always give fruit. It's like a tree that gives no fruit. But mantra is also very powerful. And we don't have any information. For instance, Ajamil. So Ajamil chanted Narayan. There's no information that he had initiation from Sampradaya. I just read actually the 6th canto, chapter 2 and 3. I wanted to share one verse. And then also Prabhupada gave the example of the Muslim gentleman who was being killed by a boar or pig, and then he chants the name, Hara, like untouchable, but he got what was Namabas. So I don't know whether he got liberated, but he was definitely on the way, getting liberated. So Sampradaya. So we have the Sri Sampradaya. You won't get in South Africa, but in South India, Sri Sampradaya. This is a Sampradaya coming from Sri. And who is Sri? Lakshmi. And Lakshmi is the consort of Narayan. So completely bona fide. Sri Sampradaya. And then we have the Nimbaka coming. This is the Kumara Sampradaya. From the four Kumaras, then the main Acharya was Nimbakacharya. They call them the Nimbakas, and we see them sometimes in Vrindavan. So that's another bona fide. And then the Rudra Sampradaya coming from Lord Shiva, also bona fide. And then the Sampradaya that we are in is the Brahma. First Brahma, and then Madhva. So Brahma, Madhva. And then they put the word Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Lord Chaitanya took initiation from Ishvara Puri, who took initiation from Madhavendra Puri, who took initiation from the deafening round. Lakshmi Pati Tirtha, who took initiation from Vyasa Tirtha, who took initiation from Brahmanya Tirtha. And so it goes all the way back. And then we have Madhva. So Madhva. So it went Lord Brahma, Narada Muni, and Madhva. And then Madhva's disciples, Papanamba, Nihari, and then Madhava Acharya, Ashokaba, and then Jayatirtha, Prabhu, Gyanasindhu, Doyanidhi, Mahanidhi, etc. It's all described in page 32 of the Bhagavad Gita. So, Madhva. So his appearances today. Madhva Acharya. And Madhva Acharya, page 31. Oh, I got page 31. Sorry, not page 32. 31. Madhva. So Madhva Acharya, some say that the Vayu, the wind god, also entered into him. And he appeared in the area of Udupi. So Udupi is on the west coast of India. And I had the good fortune of living in Udupi for some 2 or 3 months. Udupi. And this is where Madhva, many of the acharyas still there, some very ancient temples. So Madhva appeared there. As a young boy, he was very strong. extremely strong. He took initiation when he was around about 5, and then sannyas, some point 9 or 10 or 11. So there's one story that Madhva, he went to the beach. So the beach is just 5 kilometers from Udupi. And I would often go there and chant Krishna's holy name on the beach. And because it's the west coast, you see the sunset. It looks very beautiful. As opposed to Jagannath Puri, you see the sunrise, because it's the east, the opposite side. So Madhva was there at one point, and he saw a ship, a merchant ship, and it was having some difficulty navigating, as the story goes, and he helped that ship, or he gave some indication. And the captain of that ship wanted to give him a gift. So he gave him a gift of gopi chand, a large lump. And in that lump was a beautiful deity of Krishna, blackish, about this big. I don't know if you've been to Udupi. It's about this big. And this is folklore, but the story is the deity was so heavy no one could carry it. 30 people tried, but Madhvaracharya was able to carry it. And that same deity is now in the temple in Udupi. What's special about this deity is that when Lord Chaitanya was traveling throughout India, he went to Udupi and he danced in front of the deity. He danced in front of that deity. So usually there's quite a few hundred people queuing up to see the deity. I seem to remember on a Sunday, they dressed the deity, I think, in diamonds. So this temple is very nice, very special. We also have a center there, or we did have, I'm not sure now. So Madhya, Madhva. So he preached Shuddha Advaita, Shuddha Advaita Vad. VADA means philosophy. So now I'm going to open up and ask you to tell me what is Shuddha Advaita Vad, while we listen to the holy Imam calling us to the mosque. You would like to venture an answer? Shuddha Advaita Vad.
Shuddha means beyond, like Shuddha and Advaita is non-duality. So this would be.
But it's not Shuddha Advaita, it's Shuddha Dvaita.
Oh, so it's Shuddha duality.
Purified dualism. You all understand now? Purified dualism. So Madhva stressed two, because two is jewel, God and his creation, separate. And he stressed this. There is God, Krishna, Allah, and there is creation, Phoenix. Unfortunately, when he created Phoenix, he dozed off. And as they say in Indian language, he hit a miss. So, Dvaita, Shuddha means pure. Dvaita means dualism, two. The Advaita means one. So, Lord Chaitanya took this Shuddha Dvaita and also mixed it a little with different components of the other sampradayas and presented Achinta Beda Beda Tattva. We are inconceivably one with God, and yet we're different. So one with and yet different. Just like a drop of water. It contains the same chemicals, but it's not the same size as the Indian Ocean or your small gold ring. It's not the same size as a gold mine, but the quality is the same. The quality is the same, but the quantity is different. So we are very small, and God is very big. But we have the same quality, which means Sat Chit Ananda. What's that mean, Sat Chit Ananda? Sat, eternal. Chit, full of knowledge. Sat Chit Ananda, full of bliss. When we're liberated. So, Krishna is fully Satchidananda, and we are partially Satchidananda. So Madhva, great Acharya, and he came before Lord Chaitanya to preach Krishna consciousness. And then, of course, Ramanuja Acharya also came, Vishnu Swami, and then other great associates, then Lord Chaitanya with his particular associates, Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy. Then the next generation would be Krishnadas Kaviraj and Raghunath Das. Then the next generation, this is from the list actually, on page 31, is Narottam, Srinivas, and Shyamananda. And then we come down to Jagannath Das. We have his picture on the altar. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Then Srila Bhakti Vinod. Srila Bhakti Vinod. And then the next is Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta started preaching all over India and managed to send some disciples to Burma and England, London. But Krishna consciousness didn't take effect. It was the wrong time. It just wasn't right. And then, of course, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's disciple, Srila Prabhupada, went and was successful in preaching. And now his disciples and grand disciples are preaching all over the world. So we owe a great gratitude to Madhva, and we should also understand that we're in a line. This line has sometimes been described as a chain. It's a chain. So we have our own particular Diksha gurus. This is one of the links. And then Prabhupada is a link. And then Bhaktisiddhanta is a link. Kokishore is a link. So we should always understand this, step back, as it were, and see the greater picture. That Krishna consciousness or Vaishnavism, it was going on before Prabhupada came. But Prabhupada was the Shaktivesh, empowered representative, who presented it outside of India, and even in India itself. So we're part of this line, this tradition. And we're very fortunate to be connected to this tradition. Prabhupada writes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 17, text 1, we take great pride in the transcendental behavior of our students. So we should be very careful in our behavior and how we do things, because we're representing a tradition. We're representing our Diksha Guru, our Siksha Guru, if we have one. Not everyone may have a Siksha Guru, as it were. We're representing our Param Guru, our Param Guru, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta. We're representing a whole tradition. You should always be aware of that and be cautious of our behavior and how we deal with other people and what we say, because we don't want to embarrass. Jagannath Subhadra Balaram ki jai. We don't want to embarrass the previous acharyas. And this link, it goes all the way back to Rupan Raghunath. Rupan Raghunath. Even sometimes we're called Rupanugas. I never knew what it meant, so I'll ask Rupanuga. What does Rupanuga mean, Rupanuga Prabhu?
An ardent follower of Rupa Goswami.
That means an ardent follower of Rupanuga from Phoenix. No. Yeah, Anuga means to follow. So we're followers of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami in the spiritual world is Rupa Manjari. He's the number one, not number two. He's the number one associate or servant of Radharani. So we follow him, Rupa Goswami, externally, internally. So externally, that means we see him in his sadhak form. So what was the sadhak form? There is a picture actually of Rupa Goswami. Apparently this was a sketch taken when he went to some court in, where's the Taj Mahal? Agra, yeah. So there was a sketch of Rupa Goswami, and we know he was very austere. He would live, and the Goswamis would live under different trees almost every night. There's a terminology, eka vriksha, one tree, this tree. They didn't have temples. You might say, well, Rupa Goswami, didn't he build the Radha Govinda temple? So he instructed, was it Rajman Singh or Raj Bhagavan Singh? One of the two, to build that beautiful Radha Govinda temple. But he didn't stay in the temple. He preferred to stay here and there, under trees. And very austere, Rupa and Raghunath, extremely austere. It's described Raghunath Das Goswami's austerity was even more than Lord Chaitanya himself, even more than Lord Chaitanya. Rupa and Raghunath, very close associates. And then Rupa did spend time in various places, but especially Sevakunj. And Sevakunj is in Vrindavan, and this is where Prabhupada also lived for some years. I think from 1959 onwards. And Rupa Goswami Samadhi is there. I think many of you may have seen it. So Rupa Goswami was told, he was given 4 instructions that you write books on devotional service. So Rupa Goswami's most famous book, can you tell me what it is? Yes. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Prabhupada called Nectar of Devotion. But he wrote many other books also, like Lalita Madhava, Lalita Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, Stavabali, Ujjvala Nilamani, and then the famous book, Nectar of Instruction, which was printed in 1975 by Prabhupada. So he wrote many books showing us the different stages of devotion, the different levels of advancement. Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion. So he was told to write books. And number 2, to establish temples. So he established especially the Radha Govinda temple. Now those deities have gone to Jayapur. Radha Govinda. Then the 3rd, to rediscover places of pastimes that Radha and Krishna enacted 5,000 years ago. So he also did this. And the 4th one, to set an exemplary standard, to act in a proper way, befitting a sannyasi. And not just sannyasi, but acharya. See, when you become like a guru or even a sannyasi, then amongst many sannyasis there may be one acharya. And then we have acharya with a small a and acharya with a big A. So the acharya, it's like a white sheet. And if there's one spot of black ink, it's conspicuous, is it not? This is why acharya, or a leader of a spiritual mission, must be very exemplary and not be duplicitous or have any bad habits. So Rupa Goswami, externally, he did these 4 things. So we follow him externally. And internally, he's the maidservant of Srimati Radharani. So he has a spiritual body, Satchidananda. It's not a material body. There's no blood or skin. He's Kayuva. The word Kayuva means bodily expansion of Radharani. So he is 13 years and 6 months. That's his eternal age. So your age is changing all the time. We would very much like to go to the chemist and get some pill that makes us younger. Am I correct? But it doesn't work like that. Our body, day by day, is growing older, and the wrinkles are coming, and the lumbago, and the headaches, and the cancer, and the hair is falling out. So then we get hair extensions. You know all about hair extensions, ladies and men. And then hair dye. We dye our hair also. Right? Men? You just borrow the dye from the wife. But Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, eternal spiritual body, and her service is to serve Radha and Krishna with special reference, or I use the word special preference to Radharani more than Krishna. So this is called Radha, Radha Snehadika. She's more on that side than on Krishna's side. Whereas Lalita and Vishaka, they're more in the middle. And although, of course, they defend Radharani, sometimes they will even instruct her because she's not, cooperating with Krishna. So they're called Samasneha, equal. So we're Rupanugas, but the internal identity only comes after many lifetimes. But there's no harm if we hear something about it. But our main emphasis should be on the external, rising early, cleansing the body. It's a material body, but we have to clean it. Chanting a fixed number of rounds. Fixed number. We have that fixed number. Minimum 16. We chant, we follow these different principles. Like tomorrow is Ekadashi. So usually we have an Ekadashi feast. And you eat more cheese on Ekadashi than all the other days of the month put together. Isn't it? Everything has cheese. So, Ekadashi, at least no grains, and try to chant more rounds. The idea behind Ekadashi and this coming month of Kartik is to increase our remembrance of Radha and Krishna, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in Shiva Sangam every night. Lord Chaitanya would go Shiva Sangam with Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, other associates, and then have kirtan the whole night. So if we can have kirtan the whole night, that's good. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is said that one should not be initiated unless you follow Ekadashi, which means to stay up all night and dry fast, nirjal, no water, and engage in Hari Katha the whole night. How many of us can do that? No, we're all quite fallen in this Kali Yuga. But actually that is the standard. We are residents of the Kali Yuga. Manda Samata. Manda Sumanda Matayo. Mandu Pagrata. In this age of Kali, human beings are very lazy. Manda. Very lazy. When it comes to spiritual life, very lazy. The alarm clock goes off, right? The cell phone goes off at what time? 3:30, 4:30. Buzz, 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 buzz. And then we put it off and just take a few more, another 1 hour or 2 hours. We're quite lazy. Manda, Sumanda Matayo. Intelligence is also very lazy. We're not inquiring so much about the purpose of life, what happens when we die. We're more interested in the World Rugby Cup, right? Is it South Africa or is it, I don't know who they're playing against. You all know. I would never know those things because I'm just so pure. But you know all those things. Cricket, cricket, rugby. So we're more interested in that intelligence. And we look at the cricket, and we look at the rugby and the stock exchange, and how many rands to the dollar. How many rands to the dollar? And soap operas. Is it ZTV? I wouldn't know, but etc., etc. But when it comes to the spiritual life, we fall asleep. Samanda Matayo, Upadrita. Human beings in the Kali Yuga, they're always agitated. Always agitated. And so we can see this. You just look now what is going on in Israel and Gaza and Ukraine and Russia. Human beings, they're just agitated. And it would seem fighting for no real reason. No real reason. There's over 100 armed conflicts going on throughout the world. And in Africa alone, there's 35 wars going on. People fighting. And as Prabhupada pointed out, it's really for no reason. For really no reason. So people are agitated. Human beings are very agitated. Upadrata, due to the influence of the mode of passion. So the only way we can cool down this agitation is the holy name of the Lord. Tasma Sankitam Vishnu. Therefore, the chanting of the Lord's holy name, Jagad Mangalam Amhasam, is the ultimate medicine for this universe, for this world. Chanting the Lord's holy name, Mangalam. What does Mangalam mean? Mongol, Arti, Mongol, auspicious. Yes. So this verse, I memorized it. Tasmat Sankitam Vishnu. Jagad Mangalam Amhasam. So the holy name is so powerful. Asheshaga. Asheshaga Hari Vidu. Asheshaga. Everyone say Asheshaga Hari Vidu. So Vidu means intelligent people, smart, intelligent people, much smarter than you or me, have said, Ashesh, Anantasesh, unlimited Aga. So Aga, you remember the Agasura demon? So what does Aga mean? Sin. So Ashesh Aga, unlimited sin, can be counteracted simply by chanting the name of God. Even chanting these two syllables, Hari, in the Skanda Purana, Hari, Sukrit, Sukrit, Ucharitam Yena. Sukrit means once, not twice. Sukrit, once. You chant Hari, these two syllables, your spiritual life has begun. You're not liberated. You're not in the spiritual world. You're still here somewhere in Durban on the north coast, but it's begun. You go to school and you're 6 years old. Your education has begun, but you're not at that point a high court judge. You're not a brain surgeon, but it's begun. You're learning how to read and write. You're not a Sanskrit scholar at 6 years old. You're still learning ka, ga, ga. Correct? But it's begun. So you just chant Skanda Purana, these two syllables, Hari, that's all. Ucharitam, Sukrit, once, just once, your spiritual life has begun. The Skanda Purana. So I was thinking, Princess Diana has that one son called Prince Hari. And everyone's talking about him because he seems to be a little, with respect, strange. Isn't it? He married the film star and then somehow they went to Canada. He's always in the news. There's always something about Prince Harry. So I was thinking, how many people are reading and hearing that word, Hari, 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 Hari? So Skanda Purana says, simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, by once chanting the holy name of the Lord, so that's the word Sukrit, once, Sukrit, which consists of the two syllables, Hari, one guarantees his path to liberation. Skanda Purana. And we have faith in that. So the holy name of Krishna, Narayan, Hari, Jagannath, is extremely powerful, extremely powerful. And we can liberate ourselves and also our family members simply based on chanting. Like Hindus are a little concerned sometimes about their forefathers. But you can take your forefathers back to Vaikuntha, even if they're non-devotees. Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 33. Anyone wants to check? Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 33. Prabhupada writes, the conclusion is that a devotee who is strong in their spiritual life can take to the spiritual world their Diksha Guru, their Siksha Guru, their father, and their mother. Prabhupada says the conclusion is a devotee who is strong in spiritual life Not only does he go to Vaikuntha, but he can take his Diksha Guru. What if Diksha Guru is not quite so advanced? Does happen. I'm a prime example. Yes. Or what if your Siksha Guru or your father or mother, they have no interest in spiritual life? Like my father, I couldn't talk to him about God because I didn't want to give him a heart attack. I didn't want to accelerate the process. It had to take its natural course, and he did die when he was 94. So we never spoke about God. But my mother was different. But this verse, Prabhupada says, the conclusion is that a devotee who is strong in their Krishna consciousness. So now that, of course, what does that mean, strong? That's a whole other discussion. But they're able to deliver their own Diksha Guru, if the Diksha Guru wasn't so advanced somehow or other, and Siksha Guru, and father and mother. So you can just check this. Canto 4, what did I say? You've all got good memories. Canto 4, chapter 12, text 33. I just happened to read it yesterday. It's still in the mind. So please continue chanting Krishna's name and understand how fortunate you are to be connected. And you make that connection official by getting initiated. That's the ceremony, as it were. But real initiation, of course, means to accept the instructions and have faith. So please continue chanting and let us try to give this out to others. And that's called preaching, food for life. Extremely important. Because people, you give them the book, and some of them can't even read, and they can't understand hardly anything. But you put something in their mouth that they can understand, and you hear the holy name. So chanting and dancing, so important. And if they can take a book, some point or other, they may read it, or just touch it, or keep it in their house. It's good. So this chanting, Asheshaga Harividu, Ashesha, remember? Unlimited aga, sins. There are sins that you have performed not only in this lifetime, which you have conveniently forgotten, but what about the 1 million lifetimes before? You can't remember. It's unlimited sins. But the name of God, you can wipe it out. Your slate is cleaned. You can just wipe it out. It's amazing. This is the power of the name of God. The example is Ajamil. Sukrit, once. That's also mentioned about taking bath in Radhakund. Once. You take bath once. Eka, bara, eka. What's eka? Eka, bara, kara, to do snan. You all know snan. Take bath. Radha, sama, Krishna prema. Radha, sama, Krishna prema. You get the same love that Radha, sama means equal. We are all equal, sama. So you get the same praying that Radharani has, Krishna, you get. If you take Eka, just the once. That includes putting a few drops on your head. Even you think in your mind, just think of Radhakund, Govardhan, the river Ganges. All you got to do is think. The benefit is there. And then what to speak of if you see? Many of us, we go there to Vrindavan, and there is Radhakund, Shamakund, there is Govardhan Hill. And then you hear their glories from people like Dinabandhu Prabhu, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, Ram Govinda Maharaj, and others. And then hopefully Smaranam comes. What's that mean? You have some remembrance. It's fleeting. It's like, but it's something. And isn't something better than nothing? Isn't that true? A blind uncle is better than what? No uncle. So, blind uncle living in Phoenix is better than no uncle. Half a loaf is better than no loaf, except on Ekadashi. So we should just remember how lucky we are to be connected to the holy name through the proper way. That's the Sampradaya. And this is Prabhupada's mercy and the mercy of his disciples, who he's empowered, and the grand disciples empowered, and that Shakti is coming. Srila Madhva Acharya ki jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gau Bhim Ananda. So, would you like to ask something? Or make a comment? Yes.
Also, the word Hari. I'm associating with regards to the word Hari.
Hari.
We have a running club, and when we do races, we have Hari Nam, and lots of them can't chant the mantra. But when we say Hari Hari, then they will follow, and eventually we'll get Hari Bo, and they will continue like this.
When you do the comrades?
No, we have races in Durban.
Or races in Durban.
I haven't done the comrades in quite a while. Then the other point you wanted to make was...
But then you established the Jagannath Running Club.
Yes. It was in Cape Town, because we had Raghunath as a chair, so...
Yes. In the comrades, as you told me, you're not allowed any religious. You can't say that Jesus, running for Jesus, or Jesus Christ running club. So Rasaraj, being extremely intelligent, came up with the name Jagannath, and they had no idea what it meant. So we know Jagannath means Nath, the Lord of the universe, but they didn't. So it's still operating at the Jagannath Running Club.
Yeah, it's still operating, and it was approved by Bruce Fordyce himself.
Bruce, good old Bruce.
Yeah. Because what I did is on the comrades route near the Chamba, there's a rock painting. And that rock painting has been there for about 60 years. So I just sort of bluffed them. That's what the emblem was, and that was the logo coming from the comrades route. But they didn't know that the logo was actually the logo of Lord Jagannath.
Amazing. Anyone else would like to ask?
One more point, Maharaj. So in South Africa, Muslims refer to their holy month as the month of Ramadan.
Ramadan.
But I met some people from Malaysia because the company I work for, the ownership is from Malaysia. And I was quite surprised. They call it Hari Raya, the festival of Hari Raya. That's what they call it.
Well, the Vedic culture originally, it was spread all over the world. And of course, India was the center. So you'll find remnants of the Vedic culture popping up in different parts, Nigeria, different parts of the world. But Western civilization, starting with the East Indian Company, which later became basically the British Empire, they tried to propagate falsely that India was backward and nothing has come from India. Or rather, Prabhupada would say, whatever comes from India is bad. So they're trying to establish that the cradle of civilization was perhaps Ethiopia or Africa, and they won't acknowledge Indian culture because they're more proud of their Western culture, you see. So this was started by the British and propagated. Prabhupada gave an example. He said they bribed one man in India, his name was Ghosh, to write a book about all the good things England had done for India. And it was all propaganda, railway lines, bridges, etc. How they stopped the sati rights, etc. So it's propaganda. It's propaganda. And we see this now. You go onto the internet and it's propaganda. And you don't really know what to believe. You just don't know what to believe. So we go back to Shastra and we take shelter in scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Like in India now, they're very proud that they put a rocket or some capsule on the moon. And they're the fourth country now to have done this. And now the idea is they want to put a human being on the moon. But it was interesting because I was reading in the Bhagavatam that the Soma, S-O-M-A, he's the moon god. And he's actually in charge, so this will be Chandra or Soma, in charge of vegetation. So it's the moon's rays that make vegetation grow. And then Prabhupada in the purport, he says, where was this? Oh, that's right, Canto 6, chapter 4, just after Ajamil. So Prabhupada said, they say they went to the moon and there was no vegetation. Nonsense. Because the moon is Soma's planet and he's in charge of vegetation. So Prabhupada was laughing at this or mentioning this. So really, this propaganda is so powerful and it twists our mind, it colors our mind, and we don't know what to think in the end. So better we just put faith in Shastra, given to us in the Sampradaya by people like Srila Prabhupada. And that's the safest. Anything else? You'd like to say? Question? So we increase our chanting tomorrow, if we can, at least a few rounds, and try to read Sastra, and try to eat less. But we don't want to go overboard. You do what your body can handle. Read a little, and get ready also for the month of Kartik. And think now, how am I going to increase the quality? Quality is more important than quantity. You know that. You can chant 64 rounds, Namaparad. Quality, that's really what is more important. So you have to think now. Month of Kartik is coming up, what you would like to do. It can't be something impossible, staying up all night, chanting 64 rounds every day. You can't do that. Something within my godbrother, Gurijan Prabhu, he's a real philosopher. He said, maturity means you know your limitation. Understand that? Maturity. You mature when you understand what is your limitation. And don't try to be something you're not. So thank you very much. And we're just a few minutes, Kirtan, can we end? But I won't. You will.